Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about those relief pitchers. I'm Dustin, this here's Nameco. Love this time of year. I know I've said that in a few videos already, but it's just...
He is excited now.
It's very nice out today, you know, it's just...
It does feel, it feels like baseball's coming, which it is.
Baseball has a smell. Some might say it's spring, I say it's baseball. That's the smell of baseball.
All right. I'm going to say real quick, we're talking about the closers
Too weird?
here.
A little weird?
Hey, Dustin, do what you got to do.
All right.
We're not considering holds. So if you're in a league that counts holds, I know holds more and more recent leagues are being more of a thing, if you would. Note in these rankings, holds we do not care about. We're going typical 5x5 sets here with the closers. So Dustin, tell us about Tier 1.
And go to our site, download our cheat sheet. We're going to be updating it throughout spring training, so check that out. Tier 1, ton of talent. I mean, there's 4 guys here that you could argue could go in any order. I mean, all of these guys have a ton of value. I do want to say, a lot of people have Wade Davis higher than we do. I mean, one thing I like to point out is he had the most innings pitched out of all these guys, and he had the least amount of strikeouts. So while he did have the best ERA, we still value Ks a good amount when we're looking at our relief pitchers. So some of this depends on your league settings, on which one of these guys would be the first one off the board in your league. But these guys, you can't go wrong.
All right, Tier 2, I'm just going to highlight one as well, and that's Zach Britton of the Baltimore Orioles. He just had a stellar year last year, and 36 saves and a sub-2 ERA, and he just passed the eye test last year. So if you don't get one of the elite guys, where he's going in drafts is slipping a little bit more. So I actually like to grab him as kind of my first closer off the board.
Moving on, one guy I want to talk about, and I want to talk about 2 guys. The first guy is Trevor Rosenthal with the Cardinals. This is one of the guys that I think could give you the most value in terms of the relief pitchers. It's very possible he could be in Tier 1 next year. I mean, he has that type of talent. We'll see if he can put it all together, but he's definitely got the K potential. And 25 years old, I love his upside. And then Hector Rondon for the Cubs. Here's a guy that I think is going to be a very safe guy. I think we know pretty much what you're going to get out of him, but he's another guy, middle rounds, that I think is a safe pick for your closers.
And a lot of the early sites are picking the Cubs to win it all this year, so it's going to have the opportunities. All right, Tier 4, we're going to start with the 27-year-old Cody Allen of the Cleveland Indians. Again, he had 34 saves last year. His ERA, though, wasn't the greatest. It was around 3. So keep that in mind whenever you're going to be drafting him. But a lot of upside for this kid. Only 27 years old, and certainly proved last year he can shut down games. And the other guy ain't 27 years old. In fact, he is 34, and it's K-Rod. And now he's on Detroit, and his stats last year were fantastic. A 2.21 ERA, 8 saves. But with that said, whenever we were doing the ranking summit, I was fighting this. I was trying to. He's too old. He's been up and down. But if you just look, he's been more up than down, and he's on Detroit. I just got to trust him, I guess. He was fantastic last year.
Lots of talent still left in Tier 5. I want to talk about Jeremy Jeffress with my Brewers. Now, here's a guy that's got a lot of potential. I think he's one of those guys, because with the closer position every year, there's a few guys that sometimes they get trusted too much, and then they just fall off the face of the earth, and you never hear from them again. He could be one of those guys, or he could be one of the guys that's up in the first 3 tiers next year. So there's a lot of upside there, but there's no guarantees with him. But I do like his potential. And then Jonathan Papelbon, even after the choking incident and all that stuff, and he's with Washington still, and when he wasn't choking people, he was actually pitching pretty well. So, he's been a roller coaster over the last few years, but, if he can repeat what he did last year, he could be great value for you.
Tier 6, I'm going to highlight Vizcaino of the Atlanta Braves. And right now, they're saying he's going to be in a little bit of a battle with Jason Grilli, but Grilli's 39 years old. This kid's 25. He's the future. He's the one that can, chucks the ball, throws smoke. So I think Vizcaino is a nice guy to grab late that has a lot of upside potential. I'd prefer to grab a guy like Vizcaino as a closer late compared to somebody that I'll talk about in Tier 8 that's not on a great team or has a great ERA. Stay tuned for the guy I'm going to hate on in Tier 8.
So next, Tier 7, Sean Tolleson with Texas. This is a guy that I do enjoy as a late round pick, right around a K per inning. ERA is a little bit higher, but I think he could be a decent source of saves this year. And I did want to talk about Sean Doolittle with Oakland. I mean, it's pretty simple with him. When he's healthy, he can be very good. But he's had, too many injury issues in the past for us to rank him much higher than this. But he could be another guy that's a nice value pick.
All right, the guy I'm hating on in Tier 8, unfortunately, and I didn't mean it to come out that way, but it's David Hernandez, Philadelphia, closer, 30 years old. Philly's not any good, and this guy ain't really that good either. He has a 4.28 ERA as a closer. Yuck, that's just terrible.
Could be better.
I'm just saying that's why I'm taking a guy like Vizcaino, even if it's for some unknown reason a little bit up in the air. He's probably going to get the gig, but either way, that's just my whole point.
And this is where we sit right now.
A lot of changes.
Spring training can definitely change these rankings, so we will be updating them. There's links in the description. There's links in the card that you can click on to get to our rankings, see the updated ones, get to the cheat sheet. I'm not sure what you were doing.
I was going off those lights of the studio.
Yeah, in our giant studio. And
it went up that quick and down.
Like this video, subscribe to our channel.
Follow us on Twitter at Fantasy Advice.
Do that as well.
Facebook as well, Instagram, all that fun stuff.
Don't you want to hear everything that we have to say?
Come on. Let's do it.
Oh, blind one?
Yeah.
All right, it's coming.
I bet it was a good toss.
There's zero chance of that.